So, welcome everyone. I am here with PTS member and philatelic mastermind, Mark Bloxham. He has collected stamps since he was a little boy. And if you have a question on GB or Commonwealth, then he's definitely the person who can answer it. Mark is really, really well recognised in the industry. And if you don't know him, then you definitely should. Why not reach out and say hello? He is joining me here today so I can quiz him all about Mark Bloxham Stamps Limited. Hi, Mark. So tell us, how did you get into the hobby?
I started collecting stamps when I was a child. And then I ended up going to the Newcastle Philatelic Society. My dad dragged us along. And I met a collector called Trevor Pickering, who was like a line engraved expert. And he could be bothered to spend a bit of time with a silly 10-year-old. And he encouraged me, and that's how I basically got started.
Amazing. And that was collecting, right? But then how did you start dealing?
Well, I didn't have any money. So I didn't really know anybody who to swap stamps with. So I ended up going to flea markets and things, selling the stamps I didn't want. And then somehow that progressed to buying stamps, which I think I could sell at a profit, to buy stamps that I wanted, which were expensive. And that's how I basically progressed on.
Amazing. And how long have you been in the hobby for, like roughly?
A long time.
A long time.
Many decades.
And what do you specialize in?
Well, I mean, personally, I specialize in penny blacks and proofs of the penny black and things like that, and treasury essays and stuff. But as a company, we're dealing all GB and all Commonwealth.
And tell us, because, sorry.
I'm not a personal expert in all Commonwealth, but we do have people who can help us out.
And tell us a little bit about Mark Bloxham Stamps, because am I right in thinking that at one point you had a store in a shop in the centre of Newcastle, or have I just totally made that up?
No, we used to have a shop in the centre of Newcastle, but then we got the stage. This is about 1998. Where about 80% of our turnover was on the internet and 90% of our expenses was the shop. And the lease came up for another 6 years. I just thought, this is mad. We're paying, tens of thousands of pounds a year for a shop the public can walk into. And everything we're doing is just on the internet. So I moved to Morpeth, where I lived, so it was less traveling. And we closed the shop as such and just moved into offices.
Amazing. And you do a lot online, don't you? So you do quite a few shows, but you have an eBay store as well as an online shop, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, virtually all our turnover now, we're not open to the public.
Yeah.
Can't come to our office. There's very few collectors ever done it. We do regional shows, and the main one being Stampex. But a lot of it is just to say hello to people.
Yeah.
Because we've been in the business a long time, but we like to actually meet clients. And the ones we know, say hello to them and actually meet new ones for the first time.
Yeah, that's really good. That's why you do the shows. You're doing York in a few weeks, aren't you?
Yes, we do.
As well.
We used to do York, Stampex and Monaco, but Monaco now, because of all the customs and things, we didn't do last year for the first time in about 16 years.
Oh gosh, so yeah. So Mark, tell me, what's the most interesting thing you have in your stock at the moment?
We've got the original dies of the penny black. The first one, which is pictured on the left-hand side here, when they did it, the Queen said the lines were too fine to print properly. So they rejected it and they went with the one which is more well-known, which is in the center. Now, what's special about these are the printers Perkins Bacon, so, actual original examples that they kept for their records. When the company was liquidated about 80 years ago or 90 years ago, these actually came on the market, and I was fortunate enough to be able to buy them. So these are Perkins Bacon's original dies for the penny black.
Oh, amazing. That's really cool. Brilliant. And tell me a little bit about what's the most interesting thing you've acquired and sold recently?
I'm fortunate that we buy and sell lots of sort of line engraved rarities, but something which I bought recently, which is normally out of my scope, is a very fine collection of pre-stamped covers. Now, this is not something which I'm an expert on at all, and the majority, this was I found very hard to value because I hadn't handled them. What's showing here, the original Docra, as it's known, is the first prepaid hand stamp in the world. And it was done by somebody called Robert Murray and then William Docra. And the original ones are great rarities. There's only a few of each known in private hands. And that was one page from the collection, and the collection was 100 and something pages like this. But because it was something I never handled, I bought it, but I had to sell it as a collection because I didn't have the ability to break it down. Because although I knew these were great rarities and worth a lot of money, I wasn't confident to actually price everything individually. Unfortunately, I found somebody to buy it straight away from me.
Amazing. And how long did that sort of like process take? If you say, you know, recently?
It took about 4 or 5 months to eventually buy it. And when I eventually got it and we'd agreed a deal, I sold it the next day.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It took a long time to value it.
Yeah. And you sold it the next day. Gosh, that's that won't happen very often, right?
This is a world-class collection. Be very hard to get, and it takes so long to, you know, to actually buy these collections, because you have to come up with a very fair valuation. Because I mean, I'm in this business to do serious business. I'm not in it to try and buy something for nothing. It doesn't work like that. And quite often collectors will rely on my valuation. So I have to make it very fair for everybody. And it's a lot harder. It's very easy with something I've handled. I can value a mint block and penny blacks straight away. Most of them I know. But something like this I've never had before. It takes a lot of research.
Yeah. So that's so interesting. So, okay, I am a collector wanting to get into the hobby. Where do I start? What's my starting point? Any tips for me?
Read. Yes. Look, it depends what you want to collect. Try and find out, you know, there are some people who just buy things they like. If they think something looks attractive to them, they'll buy it.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to put together a collection of one of each or make something complete. Some people just buy things they like. Other people try, you know, and buy rarities, but that can get very expensive. Or, you know, a lot of people try, you know, start with a first stamp. Most people collect stamps. The first stamp they buy is a penny black. And you can buy a penny black for about 50 quid, going up to a lot more. Now, if you want to make it more complicated, penny blacks have 240 different letter combinations, right? Which starts AA in the top left corner and goes to AL, and then all the way from the A's, they go all the way down to T. So, I mean, you could collect stamps lettered, you know, IK.
Yeah.
And that makes it much harder because only 1 in 240 will be lettered IK. But if you didn't have unlimited money, it could be a restriction on what you buy because it's much harder to find.
Yeah.
I'm not saying collect penny blacks and penny reds lettered IK, but something you could do. But the most important thing, if you can, just read. Read a specialized catalog. The Stanley Gibbons specialized catalogs have got so much information in them. Most so-called specialist collectors haven't got a clue how much information is in the catalogs. And they are written in a way that you don't have to be a world expert to understand them. One of the problems with a lot of philatelic books, they're written by experts for experts.
Yeah.
They assume that you know a lot.
Yeah.
isn't so much like that. It's not dumbed down, but it's written in more of a normal English than a philatelic English.
Yeah.
Read, if you're thinking about spending quite a lot of money, definitely read.
Yeah.
Because, there are a lot of pitfalls out there. Normally, if you're dealing with PTS members, they'll look after you.
Yeah.
Because, but if you're buying stamps on eBay because you think they look cheap, they probably won't be. Or I'll guarantee you they won't be. But the more you read, the better knowledge you'll pick up yourself, and the more fun it is. If the more you know about things.
Yeah, yeah. And if a collector has something really specific that they're after, would you be able to help them? Like if someone's doing an exhibition and they're a very advanced collector and they're after that one specific piece.
Well, if we can't, we'll be able to point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, what you tend to find, if there's something that you're finding very hard to get, it's normally very hard to get.
Yeah, yeah.
Dealer, auctioneer, whoever hasn't been able to get it, it's normally because it's rare.
Yeah.
Or you're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If you want great rarities of America, don't look in England, look in America. Yeah. So I mean, if somebody contacted us, if we couldn't help you, we could probably point you in the right direction.
Amazing. And finally, if I find a collection or inherit a collection, and I don't know what to do with it, what would your tips be?
Well, first of all, now I know I'm a direct with a PTS, so I have got sort of like skin in the game, but I would deal with a PTS member. I have heard horror stories about people selling things at fractions of what they're worth.
Yeah.
Where a PTS member has an obligation to give you a fair price.
Yeah.
So if you showed me something I didn't understand, I can't value it at nothing. I've got to find out what it's worth. Where if I wasn't a PTS member, I can just say, well, I don't know what it is, so I'll put nothing on it, which of course isn't great. Get in touch with a PTS member. No, they'll give you valuations, normally free of charge. I mean, a verbal will give you X amount of money for it. Know the difference between if a dealer's offering to buy something from you, it's not the same as an auctioneer saying that we'll sell something estimated at. Some stamps are better to sell direct, some are best sold via auction, depending on what they are. Basically, find a dealer you feel comfortable with and talk to them.
Yeah.
That's the majority of collections. And I mean, the vast majority, 99.999%, are virtually worthless.
Wow.
Normally, unless the person who had the collection spent money on it, it won't be worth anything.
Yeah.
Little old ladies walking in with, 100 grand stamps never happen.
It would be a great story if that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark, for your time. This has been absolutely brilliant. So if people want to find out more about Mark Bloxham Stamps, they can head to your website, which is philatelic.co.uk. Yep. And if they want to email anyone, there is a contact form on that website.
Yeah, or just mark@philatelic.co.uk is my email address.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Mark. That was absolutely brilliant speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Take care now. Bye.